What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Pack to Sleeve. My name is Justin, and today we got another weekly winnings for you. Today is kind of going to be a double feature. So this week, once again, we went with MonoGreen Aggro at F&M. Ran back the exact same 75 as last week, left the Ceratops in the main, so I will post a link in the upper corner, so you guys can, if you are interested in looking at that particular deck list, you're more than welcome to watch last week's brief deck tech with that, because it's the exact same thing. Sideboard didn't change, nothing changed. So this week we played round one versus Cycling. Game one, he got stuck on one land, even though he was able to cycle a bunch of things. So once we removed the fox, we pretty much just ran over the game. In game two, it was a lot closer, but I ended up drawing all four of my questing beasts, and so I started using them kind of as removal spells for some of his more difficult creatures. He also had a really good combat trick or two because he was playing Jeskai, not just Boros. So he was able to kind of get around and remove one or two of my questing beasts. But in the end, we ended up winning because we drew all four questing beasts. Round two, we played versus a really sweet four-color Planeswalker control list. Kind of Esper Shell, but playing Nicol Bolas Dragon God. Like I said, it was a really sweet list. A lot of fun to play. Pretty cleanly won game one. Game two was a lot grindier, and ended up having to do a little bit of some interesting maneuvers to remove a Yorion. I mutated Gem Razor on top of Scavenging Ooze, ate a bunch of things, so it grew, was able to use Ram Through to kill both the Yorion and get some damage in. And then he forgot about Mobilized District, and he was at 3, so he tapped out, and I ended up just animating Mobilized District for the win. And in round number 3, I played versus the Mirror. Well, sort of Mirror. He was on a green-white mid-rangey list, so he's playing like Venerated Loxodon and Bronze-Hide Lion, as well as I think a couple other white spells. But the primary was like a green aggro, green mid-range list. And we were able to win off the back of Primal Might and Ram Through to steal the wins. And then today, so we ended up going 3-0. So once again, we got the foil promo pack, so we will open that here in a minute or two. But today, Saturday, we went to a small Pioneer tournament and decided to try Gruul Aggro again. I love Gruul. Pioneer is not a particularly fun format at the moment for me, so I figured might as well at least try and have a little bit of fun. So we start off with our 1-drops, Pelt Collectors, of course, for any of our aggro lists, but we also add to it Experiment 1. Very similar effect to Pelt Collector, so we're trying to drop that on 1, or either one of those on 1. And then, of course, we have the Burning Tree Emissary with Reckless Bushwhacker combo. You play the Burning Tree, and then you use it to surge in the Reckless Bushwhacker. Hopefully you have a 1-drop, and you're able to deal a whole bunch of damage and just race them down. Other 2-drops that we played, we tried 3 Robber of the Rich, try and be able to mess with some of the scries, reach versus like spirits, things like that. Be able to mess with the combos a little bit. So thought it was a pretty good choice. And then we did a 2-2 split of Voltaic Brawler. So even though it doesn't have haste, he can get pretty big as a 4-3 and get trample. And the other 2 were Zerta Goblin. Nice little hasty creature, grow our Experiment 1s and our Pelt Collector. And then for a little bit of card advantage, we played the 2 of Gallia for the haste and for the attempted draw. Our 3-drops were pretty much just the Gruul Spellbreaker. A couple of these, really good for our pump spells and our Ember Cleaves because of Hexproof. So great target for that, and we've used it in Standard a ton, so Played it a little bit in Pioneer. And then kind of the other curved topper is, of course, 2 of Questing Beasts. The format's pretty quick with combos, so don't want 4 of, but figure, hey, Questing Beast is a pretty good finisher, so might as well try. And then we had a couple different pump spells. So we had 2 Gore Clan Rampagers, mainly or predominantly for the Blood Rush effect, +4/+4, and trample. Gets around to Fairy Time Raveler, is able to just win out of nowhere because of the amount of damage. Our kind of burn spell / team pump is a Tarkus command. Was able to use this for... Whoop, see if I can get it to focus a little bit here. There we go. Mainly used it for the 3 damage and pump the team, but I was also being able to use it with the opponent can't gain life is really good in the Uro matchups. And then we also had 2 Ember Cleave. Any kind of aggro list like this, you're able to get a lot of creatures down. Ember Cleave is just a slam dunk finisher. We played 22 lands. We played 5 mountains, 6 forests. Sorry, I knew it was, there we go, 7 forests. And then, of course, the 4 of Stomping Grounds. And this time we tried 4 of Game Trail. I'm not really sold on Game Trail. There were multiple times where I top deck it and it just comes in tapped and is pretty useless. It's really good to get off to a fast start, but there are multiple times where it just kind of hoses you. And then the last land is the 2 of Rootbound Crag. Once again, can hinder you on your fast starts, but if you have a way to keep it to come in tapped, it can keep you rolling through the game pretty effectively. In our sideboard, we ran a 1 of Primal Might as a pump spell and as a fight spell, just to be able to get those points of damage through, get it on our tramplers, clear out a troublesome blocker. We ran a Harness by Force to attempt to steal some of the bigger creatures. I brought this in versus Inverter, hoping to, when they try and stonewall with the actual Inverter of Truth, you steal it and you kill them. Because I don't have obviously a meaningful way of interacting with the Inverter combo, I need to get them dead, and Inverter itself can just stonewall me all day long. Collective Defiance, also a way to deal with Inverter, to try and, when they go for the Inverter part, if they don't have Oracle or if they don't have Jace on the board, you can kill them with Collective Defiance. 2 Destructive Revelries for Artifact heavy decks, or for Lotus to be able to remove Breach, Underworld Breach. 2 Soul Guide Lanterns, Uro lists, other things like that. Damping Sphere also for Breach. Gruul Charm, predominantly for the Spirits matchup, either dealing 3 damage to all creatures with a flying, or if you're, I know saw one guy had like a cat tribal list. I could have brought this in to win through a board stall. Played 2 of Magma Spray, and then 2 of Scavenging Ooze, and the 1 of Heroic Intervention. Our matches did not go very well at all today. We ended up going 1-3, but that's kind of the way it is. Gruul is not a particularly great Pioneer list, so I would caution you against playing it unless you really, really enjoy it, or your meta is not very defined by the 3 top decks. Today we just either couldn't draw lands or couldn't draw creatures, so that's the way it goes sometimes. I still love the list, but I think I'm going to have to retire it for at least a little bit until something changes in Pioneer, when we can bring it out again, or if we get some spicy stuff in Zendikar. But let's conclude here with our foil pack. We are now on a 15-game win streak at F&M, so going along pretty well. All right, we got a Baron, Tolarian Archmage for 1 and 2 blue for a 2/2 legendary human wizard. When it enters the battlefield, return up to 1 target creature or planeswalker to its owner's hand, and at the beginning of your end step, if a permanent was put into your hand from the battlefield this turn, draw a card. So if you bounce your own stuff, you can draw a card, or you can just bounce their stuff. We got the Llanowar Visionary as our F&M promo card, or the promo card in here, for 2 and a green for a 2/2 Elf Druid. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card, and you can tap it to add green. Combination of Llanowar Elves and Elvish Visionary. And then last but not least, we got a foiled Dawn of Hope. So for 1 and a white for an enchantment, let's see if I can get it to come back into focus here. There we go. Whenever you gain life, you may pay 2, and if you do, you can draw a card, or you can spend 3 and a white to create a 1/1 white creature token with lifelink. So, not too bad, not too great, but Dawn of Hope is decent, and Baron sees some play, so always happy to get the foil pack, so that's fine. I hope you've enjoyed this brief deck tech, and like I said, if you want to see the MonoGreen list that I have been playing and doing very well with at F&M, you can look at the previous couple weeks' deck techs and the weekly winnings. If you want the exact list that I played this week, it is last week's video. But yeah, what are you guys playing at F&M, or if you're able to? Love to see some lists in the comments. Otherwise, I'd love it for you to like, hit the subscribe button, but I am all tapped out for now, so I'll talk to you guys later.